Silent Hill F seems so unsure that you will be able to understand what it means that I walked away from it feeling very annoyed. Particularly because I believe what it does have to say is of little substance. It felt to me like a betrayal of the source material because ambiguity is core. It is shrouded in fog and silent. Silent Hill F just doesn't know when to shut up. This recent new wave of post-PT Silent Hill media seems to take more cues from Silent Hill 2 than any other game in the series. Silent Hill 2 abandoned the cult storyline of the first game to tell a standalone story. Recent games have abandoned Silent Hill altogether, describing it as more of a phenomenon than a place. That has riled a lot of people up. I'm not one of them. I'm okay with Silent Hill being more of a vibe than a setting, but unfortunately, the first game in this new wave, The Short Message, really missed the mark on that vibe. Silent Hill 2 is subtle, and the story is pieced together through interpretation. The Short Message, however, has the subtlety of an anti-bullying public service announcement. It takes a didactic approach, meaning there is a moral to the story, and the game's primary intention is to teach the player a lesson. That is very un-Silent Hill. You don't need a video essay to help you understand what the message of the short message is. It is hammered into you over and over again. There is nothing to interpret. That lack of subtlety is continued in the utterly awful Silent Hill Ascension, which had a purchasable emote which screamed in rainbow font, "It's trauma." A catchphrase which transforms the franchise into a game show where players guess the protagonist's mental illness. There are even some additions to the recent remake of Silent Hill 2 that rubbed people the wrong way, particularly elements which provided evidence for the loop theory. That really angered some because it forced an interpretation. It filled in some blanks that many would rather leave blank. Ito himself warned that revealing the red squares would be like a magician revealing his trick. The magical becomes mundane. Silent Hilf does not, in fact, stand for Silent Hill I'd Like to Fuck. The developers haven't directly stated what the F stands for, a move that is uncharacteristically coy given how the game plays out, but I think it's most likely that it's not an F, but the musical symbol of forte. Forte means to play loudly, which is fitting because Silent Hill F is not silent. It is loud hill. Loud spectacle, loud action, and very, very loud storytelling. Now, I do want to say, in the opening sections of Silent Hill F, I was with the game every step of the way. Hineko's connection to the town of Ebisugaoka really sets it apart from other games in the series. And the supporting cast of characters in Silent Hill F aren't unfortunate tourists, but people close to Hineko, and they have a history with secrets. They seem less like victims and more like monstrous co-conspirators of the fog. They make survival plans with Hineko only to disappear and whisper about her death. I was in. Hook, line, and sinker. But then, the game started to become a little skeptical about my ability to follow along, and that's when the alarms started to ring for me, because Silent Hill F cannot stop itself from clarifying what it wants to say. In Silent Hill 2, James doesn't really comment on the monsters in the town. They don't represent anything to him beyond being monsters that want to kill him. There's only one time we see James perceive a greater meaning, and that is after he defeats Pyramid Head. But this is deliberately vague and leaves a lot of unanswered questions. Why did James need Pyramid Head? To motivate him to seek out the truth? To punish him? To externalize his sexual frustrations? People debate that to this day. In Silent Hill F, Hinako looks at a swollen, pregnant creature giving birth, carried on the back of a male figure, and she says directly to it, "I will never turn into you." Now, I don't need a 1-hour video essay to help me understand what that means. That's pretty on the nose. And it is very strange to have Hinako herself interpret that meaning for us. Dreams are a persistent motif in Silent Hill. But in dreams, we don't often know we're dreaming. The purpose of dreams and their meaning is mysterious, complex, and unknown. If Hinako is dreaming, it is a lucid dream. Hinako often knows that she is dreaming and consciously considers what she is seeing as representative of a reality outside the game. It's this it's trauma guessing game, but we aren't allowed to play. This left me feeling pretty insulted, given how easy the game is to understand even without the game's help. Let's see if you can catch my drift here. Silent Hill follows two journeys. One where Hinako attempts to escape the town of Ebisugaoka as monsters infest the town, and another where Hinako traverses a shadow realm in pursuit of the enigmatic man in the fox mask. The fox mask is a yokai-like figure which expresses romantic intentions toward Hinako that are quickly reciprocated. While Hinako travels with her friends in Ebisugaoka, she experiences loss, betrayal, isolation. But with the fox mask, she undergoes a ritual to rid herself of her past and join with him. She literally incorporates parts of him into her being. She even loses her name. Not her whole name, only her family name. Hint, hint. As the game approaches its ending, we realize these two realities are linked. The entropic force destroying Ebisugaoka is actually the fox mask Hinako. She is eradicating her past in order to embrace this new future. But the old Hinako does not want to be destroyed. She wants to retain her identity. Now, already, from that very literal description of the plot of the game, the story, and what it all means should be pretty clear. It's a solid horror story. The real problem is that it doesn't stop there. It doesn't know when to shut up. Because throughout the various endings, all the subtext you might read from that plot synopsis is told to you explicitly through dialogue in case you weren't paying attention. In the ending of the game, the health items Hinako has been using are revealed to be hallucinogenic. This seems to reference White Claudia from the other games. That was previously used as a possible explanation for the spooky scary in town, but it was just as likely to be a red herring. It was left ambiguous. In Silent Hill F, it is given to us as an explanation very directly. The real Hinako is revealed to be undergoing a psychotic episode brought on by the drugs, and she is attacking real people in her hometown. This is where the presentation of the game as a metaphor is its most explicit. We are seemingly given proof that the events of the game are not real. Now, in my previous video, analyzing Silent Hill 2, I gave two interpretations of the game, and both considered the events of the game as not real. I don't think it's a cop-out to say it's all a dream. There are still big personal stakes for James, because if he fails in his journey, he will not experience catharsis or redemption, even if it's all in his head. The struggle is real. I do have an issue with this sequence in Silent Hill F, because there is no ambiguity. Even if you agree with me that the events of Silent Hill 2 are not real, there are still a lot of unanswered questions. Is James dreaming? Is he dead? Is it hell or purgatory? Is it a psychogenic fugue state? We don't know. That's the magic trick. In Silent Hill F, we do know. And the consequence is we realize if Hinako had failed in her journey, the only thing that would have been prevented is her drug-induced rampage. There is no catharsis, and we, the player, didn't really achieve anything. This is the only possible ending on a first playthrough, and it is weak, but the other endings don't fare much better. If you go through the game again and don't take the red pills, you get access to another set of endings. In one, the person drugging Hinako with the red pills is revealed. It was Shu, her childhood sweetheart. He did it to prevent the wedding between Hinako and the Fox Mask. Shu transforms into a monster, and Hinako defeats him, forcing him to relent and respect Hinako's decision. Shu and the Fox Mask become bros. It turns out his name is Kotayuki, and he's not a creepy yokai creature, but a very handsome human lad. This made me so irrationally mad. Please humor me while I digress a bit to tell you why. Even though Silent Hill 2 abandons the cult storyline, religion has a significant role, and symbols have power. In Silent Hill F, the mythology presented is Shinto in origin. Inari-sama is a real deity in Shinto, although the Ebisu Gaoka faith is unique to the game. I have a personal interest in Japanese folklore. I've spent a great deal of time in Japan and once journeyed through rural Iwate to visit the home of the Kappa, Tono. Now, Kappa are very weird little guys. A lot of the original myth hasn't been translated to popular culture in the same way that a lot of fairy tales have been Disneyfied. Kappa actually began as a kind of boogeyman creature in Japanese folklore to prevent children from swimming alone and drowning. You see, Japanese myth describes a particular organ that Kappas really like. It was said that the soul itself actually resided in a ball called the Shirikodama, and that ball was stored right up inside the human asshole. Kappa loved these little ass balls, and so a superstition began where people would fart near bodies of water so that Kappa didn't swim up and suck them right out. That's right, these little cute critters eat ass. Anyway, that's not really relevant. I just wanted to tell you because I'm not sure when I'd get another chance. The point is that when I was in Tono, I visited a local bar and by chance ran into a Japanese student doing her master's thesis on yokai folklore. And I remember telling her how much I admired how respected Shinto folklore and rituals were in Japan, despite being a religion that most don't consider real in the same way Westerners view Christianity. And when I told her that, her demeanor sharply changed. She told me very seriously, just because it is fictional does not mean it is not real. Myth is powerful. So powerful, it can even provoke behavior. It doesn't matter that most people don't know the origins of the Kappa. They have a real multifaceted influence on the lives of real people. So when Kotayuki fist bumps Shu and takes off his mask, he is no longer a powerful, mysterious folk deity. He is a cosplayer. It is a Scooby-Doo reveal. And what's more, it is not revelatory to Hinako, because that is how she has always seen him. We learn that presenting Kotayuki as a yokai spirit is only for our benefit. It has no power for Hinako because it's not real to her. It has no real impact on her journey at all. In the final true ending, it is revealed that Kotayuki was marrying Hinako for the same reason that she was marrying him. He was doing what was expected of him, a tool performing a function. And once they both realize they are betraying their true selves, they amicably decide to part ways, if only so that one day they can meet and find love again for the right reasons. And as the fog lifts from silent Ebisugaoka, the two Hinekos join and consider their future together. Yuck. Where do I begin? These are not real people. At this point, they aren't even metaphors. They're personified emotions. This resembles Pixar's Inside Out more than Silent Hill or anything that the series takes inspiration from. And all this overly stylistic presentation has served to do is tell a story which really isn't that interesting. It's a very simple, saccharine story about one woman learning to be true to herself rather than conform to the person society thinks she should be. But Silent Hill F doesn't actually have a lot to say about rigid patriarchal gender roles in 60s Japan beyond that they're bad. And we know that. Women are often pressured in society to conform to the male gaze, but that's been front of mind in popular culture for a long while and thoughtfully considered throughout 4 waves of feminism. Now, that's obviously not to say we don't often need a reminder. I was in Japan when the head of the Olympics committee over there famously said something to the effect of, "It's not that I don't like that there are women on the committee, I just don't like it when they talk." Japan has changed a lot since the 1960s, but these archaic notions do pervade modern culture the world over. There's nothing wrong with reminding people that we could do more to evolve as a society, but what is Silent Hilf saying about patriarchal gender roles beyond reminding us that they exist and can be harmful? I'd argue not a lot. Not enough to justify presenting it to us in this abstract form. It's just not that deep. It's a topic covered with greater nuance in a single episode of Bluey. But the real horror here is that the game's message that women should not be defined by the male gaze completely falls flat with this true ending because Hineko is only able to reconcile her identity with permission from a man. When Hineko confronts Kodayuki, forcing him to confess his true intentions for marriage, he realizes that he must let her go, and so he does. He allows it. But not before Hineko says that she may still marry him as long as they both have a long, hard think about it. But isn't that the game we've been playing? We've been helping Hineko through her internal struggle to decide whether she should go through with that marriage or be true to herself. The game simply ends by showing Hineko is still thinking about it. Hineko hasn't meaningfully changed at all, and the game's message, warning of the pressure to conform to the male gaze, is tasteless because you can dress up the high school student protagonist in a kawaii bunny costume. For all its volume, Silent Hill F is ultimately full of sound and fury, signifying nothing. Ooh. Okay, sorry, that game made me mad. Thank you so much to my lovely patrons. Thank you to IRA and DMS, Bender and Blemkin, and a very special thank you to Choking on Razors, as well as all the lovely people you see here. If you want to support the channel, Patreon is the best way to do it. I try to take my time so that I can make the best stuff I can for you. That's not a great YouTube business model, so it is through monthly Patreon donations that I can justify dedicating that time. There are perks too. We've been doing a monthly indie games club where we all play a game each month and we have a special stream to discuss our thoughts. Right now we're playing Baby Steps, which I don't want to spoil anything, but it also tells an abstract story about gender norms, so it's weirdly a good companion piece to Silent Hill F. I might even talk about it in a future video, who knows, so stay tuned for that. The Game of the Month is voted on by Patreon supporters, so if you want to have a hand in choosing something for me to talk about in a future video, you can. I also have a Discord server, so come and join if you like my stuff and want to chat to other people who like my stuff. It's a great way to stay up to date with things I've got on the horizon, and I often poke my head in and have a chat. So come down. I do also want to say before I finish off here that I'm aware this video is a spicy take. Silent Hill F has been really well received, and if you did really love the game, I'm not trying to prove to you that the game is actually bad and you're wrong. It just really rubbed me the wrong way, and I wanted to talk about it. This wasn't a review of the game or a critique or anything. There's a lot I didn't talk about for that reason. Anyway, feel free to tell me all the reasons I'm wrong. We can be civil about it. A very late happy Halloween to you all. More things are coming soon, so subscribe for more, and please, please have a great day.
You're beautiful.